Hello and welcome here. The greatest loss for DCEU could be the Batman played by Ben Affleck. Not only did he infuse a much-traveled character with wonderful creative vitality, but his Oscar-winning camera work promised an amazing standalone Caped Crusader feature. Before that could happen, Affleck stepped down from the role, claiming a desire to prioritize his personal and health-related matters in addition to his displeasure with the struggling franchise's artistic direction. The concept was merged into Matt Reeves' The Batman, which turned out to be a wonderful consolation prize for disappointed DC fans as the DCEU lumbered slowly toward its denouement. Unexpected criticism of the Batman, and more especially of Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Bruce Wayne, has resulted from it. That's a huge insult to both performers, and although Affleck certainly deserved more in his role as the Caped Crusader, Pattinson has shown herself to be more than a competent replacement. More significantly, the fact that they each have a very distinct interpretation of the character lessens the credibility of direct comparisons. Although neither could successfully survive in the other's comic book universe, they eventually surprise one another by complementing one another. It shouldn't have worked as well as Affleck's Batman did, especially in light of all the other problems the DCEU was facing. It officially rejected the MCU's lighter, more self-referential tone in favor of a deadly serious superhero narrative. Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, two of Zack Snyder's early films, even went so far as to shoot Jimmy Olsen in the head before Superman could show up to rescue the day. The choice continues to divide supporters. Batman, who had previously ventured down countless dark alleys, most notably in Christopher Nolan's highly acclaimed Dark Knight trilogy, stood to gain the least from the situation. Ben Affleck, on the other hand, stood out. In contrast to the youthful heroes in his immediate vicinity, Bruce Wayne's older, jaded persona made him a dangerous early foe for Henry Cavill's Superman. In Batman v Superman, Batman's actions following Clark Kent's apparent death hint at a need for atonement and an awareness of how close he was to losing it all. It's not like any other live-action version, which usually shows Batman's conviction instead of his uncertainty. Batman's relatively scant screen time in the DCEU, mostly shared with other DC characters and occasionally amounting to little more than a cameo, like in 2016's Suicide Squad, makes it all the more shocking. Nevertheless, the Batman was initially intended to make a significant profit from the enormous potential of Affleck's Dark Knight. In order to fully understand the character, Affleck focused on highlighting the tragedy that would always haunt him and the agony that drives him. Deathstroke was supposed to be a major part of it, foregoing the typical rogues gallery in favor of an unforgiving foe who has a knack for playing with the minds of his opponents. The movie also included a significant role for Arkham Asylum, reiterating the notion that Batman would fit in there just as much as any of his adversaries. Affleck's directing style frequently reflects deep psychological complexity, as shown in his concentration on the inner lives of his characters in films such as Argo and The Town. His take of the Batman attempted to take full use of that. Regrettably, he became jaded due to his unpleasant experience working on Justice League. At the time, the actor was battling alcoholism and going through a public divorce from Jennifer Garner, which made tabloid news. He says that in the midst of all of it, he lost interest in the Batman and that a movie with a character like that deserved to go to someone with more motivation in a 2020 interview with the Associated Press. Eventually, Reeves had it in her hands. Even with that, and the fact that Affleck left the DCEU before his own Batman movie could start shooting, Batman in the DCEU gained a lot of new followers and cemented his place in the annals of the greatest Batman movies ever made. Paradoxically, that highlights the Batman's positive traits even more. Pattinson bore the brunt of everything Affleck struggled with in the role, including the weight of enormous audience expectations and the shadow of renowned Batman performers like Christian Bale and Michael Keaton. Moreover, Affleck's early work on the Batman prompted easy parallels between the two, with Pattinson being unproven and his predecessor having a significant track record in the role. But Pattinson have the right mix of qualities to overcome those obstacles. The Twilight films brought Pattinson early fame as sparkly vampire Edward Cullen, the kind of role that can lead to lifelong typecasting. He went on to build his reputation as an actor in more somber roles, such as Water for Elephants and David Cronenberg's extremely cerebral Cosmopolis, even before the saga came to an end. He gained knowledge of popular characters with a committed fan base from his work on Twilight, which lessened the likelihood that he would be completely absorbed by Bruce Wayne's immense pop cultural legacy. His masterful portrayal of Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse demonstrated the necessary depth and depravity of mind needed for the role. And to top it all off, Pattinson is 14 years younger than Affleck, which means he had to play Batman early in his career and further distanced himself from the older Caped Crusader. In response, Reeves makes the appropriate alterations to the screenplay to highlight Wayne's early years, when he is still unsure of his future. Without lessening Wayne's iron will or unwavering ambition, Pattinson portrays an unexpected level of vulnerability in the role, at times emulating Tim Burton's vision of a forlorn little boy behind the hood and cowl. Batman also makes a point by taking a more grounded approach to the Caped Crusader and shunning the DCEU's use of supernatural characters like Kal-El and Diana. It offers a gripping storyline for its protagonist, who realizes that merely abusing criminals won't get him what he wants and makes a commitment to serve as an example for Gotham's good angels. With a planned sequel and a standalone mini-franchise apart from the DCU, the movie lives up to its highly regarded reputation. Batman, played by Pattinson, is largely responsible for the film's success. Affleck as Batman would not have worked, and in fact, the DCEU's surrounding machinery would have driven the character in a very opposite path. The fact that Batman in the DCEU is undoubtedly not a fan of the law may help to explain the serial murderer mystery that lies at the core of the Batman, in which the hero must track down the Riddler while evading an ongoing manhunt for him. Beyond that, though, Reeves' movie is more similar to Nolan's universe than it is to the DCEU. Reeves' picture would have lost a lot of its identity if Affleck hadn't both defined and influenced the story of that series. With Deathstroke, the long-rumored antagonist, and an opportunity for the long-forgotten DC mainstay to take center stage, it may have done well for itself. However, the plot would not have been the Reeves version, and probably would have concluded with a single movie. Rather, the Batman has provided DC as a whole what it sorely needs right now: a dependable film series to keep fans engaged while the DCEU fades and the DCU intensifies. Additionally, it lets Gunn work on his Brave and the Bold project, which aims to portray Batman as a mentor and father figure while relying on Reeves' series to present a more conventional portrayal of the Caped Crusader. The balance between Affleck and Pattinson's Batman has been reversed, with Pattinson's portrayal of the role being more seasoned and experienced than Affleck's. All of it would not have been possible if Affleck had stayed in the part. Even if Pattinson's portrayal of Bruce Wayne is superior, Batman will never be what he might have been in the DCEU, and Affleck left a very lasting impact when he withdrew. By creating a legacy of his own, Pattinson isn't endangering it, and in fact, under Affleck's direction, his interpretation wouldn't be nearly as powerful. It has never been and is not a competition. Rather, the two actors demonstrate the sheer number of fantastic Batman stories that may be told in the enhanced quality of those stories when they are performed by their own actors. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you soon.